Hello, everyone. Welcome to Untold History, the channel where we explore fascinating and lesser-known historical events. Today we delve into one of the decisive confrontations in Alexander the Great's campaign, the Battle of Issus, fought in 333 BC. This battle not only marked a turning point in the war between Alexander and the Persian Empire, but also cemented the young Macedonian king as a formidable military strategist. The conflict between Alexander and the Persian King Darius III began before the Battle of Issus, when Alexander crossed the Hellespont in 334 to invade the Persian Empire. After his victory at the Battle of Granicus, Alexander advanced through Asia Minor, where Darius assembled a vast army to confront him. The two leaders eventually met near Issus, in what is now southern Turkey. The Battle of Issus took place on narrow ground, flanked by mountains and the sea, which nullified the Persians' numerical advantage. Alexander, leading his cavalry, launched a direct attack on Darius, who, according to the chronicles, was the first to flee the battlefield when he saw his troops being outnumbered. Darius III's defeat at Issus was devastating for the Persian Empire. In addition to capturing his family, Alexander consolidated his control over Asia Minor and opened the way to the heart of the Persian Empire. Despite Darius' offers of peace, Alexander continued his march to glory. The Battle of Issus was more than a military victory. It was the beginning of the end of the Persian Empire and the rise of a new empire that would span from Greece to India under Alexander. His ability to defeat a larger army and his ability to inspire his men made him one of the great conquerors in history. The cultural impact of the Battle of Issus was also significant. Alexander sought to fuse Greek culture with the local traditions of the conquered territories, founding cities that would serve as centers of Greek culture. This action not only strengthened his image as a leader, but also promoted Hellenism, seeking to unify East and West under a shared cultural legacy. Alexander's strategy at Issus, as well as his respectful treatment of the Persian royal family, had a propaganda impact. Many Persian citizens began to see Alexander not only as a conqueror, but as a worthy leader. This support made it easier for him to march to other Persian regions, winning the support of sectors of the local elite. The religious dimension of the battle is also important. The Persians, practitioners of Zoroastrianism, saw their emperor as a representative of Ahura Mazda, their chief god. With each victory, Alexander undermined Darius' spiritual power. As he progressed, he promoted the veneration of Zeusimonius, the Greek god from whom he considered himself a descendant. This aspect strengthened his legitimacy in the eyes of his troops and gave a mythical image that inspired loyalty in his men. Another crucial element of the Battle of Issus was the effectiveness of the Macedonian phalanx, a heavy infantry unit perfected by Alexander. At Issus, the phalanx was instrumental in containing the Persian army, allowing Alexander to execute his tactics effectively. The phalanx's close formation and long spears, sarissas, offered an impenetrable defense, demonstrating that the discipline and training of its troops allowed it to face much larger forces. Alexander's military logistics also played an essential role in his victory. While the Persian army depended on provisions from the surrounding regions, Alexander maintained a well-organized supply chain that ensured that his troops were supplied even in hostile territories. His ability to move quickly and keep his army in optimal condition was key to his success in the long advance into the Persian Empire. Finally, the Battle of Issus ushered in a new era of conflict between West and East. This confrontation not only laid the foundation for relations between Greece and Persia, but also shaped the cultural perception of both civilizations. The unification of the ancient world under Alexander fostered a cultural exchange that would endure through the centuries. An interesting aspect of the Battle of Issus is the role of women in the historical narrative. Although little attention has often been paid to women's participation in ancient wars, it is known that the wives and daughters of captured Persian nobles were taken by Alexander to his camp. This gesture not only demonstrated his power, but also helped cement his image as a protector of Persian royal families. In addition, it is important to consider the long-term repercussions of the Battle of Issus on Persian politics. The defeat of Darius III weakened his position and opened the door to internal conflicts that would culminate in a general weakening of the empire. This internal conflict is a reminder of how wars not only affect the nations involved, but can also trigger dramatic changes in the internal political order. The influence of the Battle of Issus is felt in literature and art. Writers and historians have explored the figure of Alexander the Great and his conquests, depicting him as a tragic hero. Works such as Plutarch's The Life of Alexander reflect the continuing fascination with his figure and his achievements, showing how this representation has influenced the interpretation of history. The victory at Issus has been studied by strategists and military leaders over the centuries. Alexander's tactics, especially his use of terrain and the mobility of his phalanx, have become examples of study in military academies. This attention to the analysis of the battle has kept Alexander's story alive, ensuring that his influence endures. Finally, the Battle of Issus symbolizes a meeting of worlds, Hellenism and Persism. Each had its own culture and values, and the clash at Issus was a reflection of a broader struggle for cultural domination. Alexander's victory not only resulted in territorial expansion, but led to the spread of Hellenism, forever altering the local culture. The Battle of Issus is not just a military event, it is an example of how history is intertwined with culture and identity. It invites us to reflect on how wars, while devastating, can be catalysts for change. In studying the Battle of Issus, we are not only reminded of Alexander's greatness, but also of the complexities of the interactions between civilizations that have shaped the world in which we live. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history. Don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell to continue exploring fascinating moments in our history together. Until next time.